More loop patterns. We've already seen the accumulate, map, and filter patterns. Now we're going to cover a few more patterns that have more complex conditionals. These are the find, take, min, and max patterns. We have a list of items and want to find a specific value based on a condition. This requires us to walk through the entire list and check whether the value satisfies our condition. When we are done, the desired value will be in the found variable, or found will have the value none. You will need to replace the blank with an appropriate condition, and you will often want to replace the value none with a suitable default value. The find pattern actually comes in two variants. The first version will find the last element in the list that matches the given condition. The key idea is that the accumulation variable is manipulated repeatedly by the loop, and only returned when the entire loop is finished. Contrast that with the next variant of the find pattern, though. In this variant of the find pattern, the program actually behaves differently. Instead of returning the last element that matches the given condition, the first element that is encountered is returned instead. This variant relies on the control flow breaking behavior of the return statement to exit out of the for loop as soon as the element matches the condition. The return statement, when encountered, immediately ends the for loop and the entire function, regardless of anything else. This is why it is absolutely critical to make sure that your return statements are always guarded by if statements. You will pretty much never see a return statement directly inside of a for loop unless there is an if statement wrapped around it. The take pattern is a cousin of the find and filter patterns, but has significantly more complexity. We have a list of items, and we want a copy of the items up until a certain point. We again have to walk through the list, but this time we will stop taking elements after we satisfy our condition. Notice that the body of this loop is more complicated, using an elif statement to prevent us from taking elements after we have met the condition. We should look at an example with more context. In this example program, we use the take pattern to grab the first three elements of the list. However, it was not that we intentionally only chose the first three elements specifically. Instead, the logic of the pattern had us go through every element of the list until we encountered the first element that matched our condition. After that element, we stopped accumulating elements in our new list. At the end, the fact that we only took the first three elements is a consequence of their data, not some arbitrary constant length. The last pattern is used to find the highest or lowest elements in a list. This pattern is similar to the find pattern. However, you can see that the conditional compares each value to the accumulated value. Using this pattern, the accumulated value, in this case a maximum, will end up as the highest value in the list. The corresponding minimum pattern works similarly, except the difference is that the less than operator is used instead of the greater than operator. A small but important detail, often overlooked with the minimum and maximum patterns, is that they require the list to be non-empty before you initialize the accumulation variable. Remember, you cannot index the first element of an empty list, since there is no first element of an empty list. Therefore, most practical implementations of the pattern will begin by incorporating the guard pattern that we previously learned about in logical patterns.